Today's episode is how to deal with freeloader mentality. Hello and welcome to the Successful, Sensitive and Intuitive Entrepreneur podcast. My name is Lydia Sophia Wilmsen and I am an intuitive success mentor for sensitive entrepreneurs. In this podcast, I speak about the challenges sensitive and intuitive entrepreneurs face. I offer you new perspectives and solutions, as well as experiences of other entrepreneurs. Plus, I speak about my personal experience of being a highly sensitive person who has successfully built and scaled 2 businesses. All of that with the goal to make you and your business even more successful in your very unique and authentic way. Have fun and enjoy. First of all, what do I mean with that? I guess every entrepreneur out there has had to deal with that. It's basically those people who sign up for your free stuff. They want everything for free. They have all your freebies. They sign up for all your free challenges. They even inquire about your services. They sign up for your free calls. Perhaps they just want to chit chat with you, have a friendly chat, even though you're not friends. So everything, every tiny little bit of service or product or even energy and time from you they can get, they are there and want that. And if they inquire about your services, they don't follow up. They don't send you a no, that's not for me, or maybe later, they just fizzle out basically. And I have 5 tips for you today, or 5 steps you can take so that you don't have freeloader mentality around you anymore. And this could be, it could be that you have a super nicely running business and then it's very annoying because people pay you thousands per hour. And then you have people who just show up and want an hour of your free time. And you think what the heck is going on? People pay me thousands and this person just wants it for free. What's wrong with me? Or it might be that you're just starting out with your business and people don't become paying customers. They always stay in freeloader mentality. You only get those people who want your stuff for free and you can't really properly get your business running. It really can happen at every stage of your business. I know that from my time in the art gallery, the other business I was part of, our family business. Yes, there are people. They are at every art fair. They are everywhere. They get we had amazing, yummy vegan cookies, a friend of mine baked in her own little bakery. And they came for those cookies. They were actually expensive. And they never bought anything, not even something for 50 euros. Yeah, and then there are people, who inquire about artworks, but they would never ever buy. And perhaps they would go somewhere else and buy there, but not with you. And this can be annoying at whatever stage you are in your business. So today I have 5 different steps you can take or 5 different points you have to take into account if you want to change that. If you want to have less of that mentality around you and really commitment around you and people who invest in you and people who take your time seriously. The first part I want to start out with is know that it's not about you, but about themselves. That was really key about me because I took it personally. And many people out there, perhaps you take it personally. If someone shows up and just wants your time for free, it's not a friend, it's not anyhow related to you, that person, and just comes out of nowhere and says hey, let's hop on a chat, have some coffee together. But actually, what's happening is that person just wants all your advice for free. And it can easily happen that you get really angry and you think what is wrong with me? What is happening there? Why is that person doing that to me? How am I showing up that this is happening? You can really get angry and also doubtful about yourself. And first thing for you to know is it's not about you. It is not personal. That person is not doing it to make you angry. That person doesn't want to hurt you. So whatever they are doing to you, they are doing to themselves. They are not rejecting you. They are rejecting their own growth. So don't take it personally and understand that they are hurting themselves, not you, with that behavior. And I will go deeper into that why in the last point I'm going to mention. So, first point, it's not about you, it's about themselves. Don't take it personal and don't put meaning on it. We create so much stress in our life, so much negative thoughts and negative circumstances just because of the way how we relate to things, how we relate to our circumstances. And if that happens and you put so much focus on it and start thinking like, what's wrong with me? And I'm so angry and this only happens to me, to no one else. This is when you start putting meaning onto something where you don't have to put meaning on. Because meaning, like the meaning you create, it's basically the thoughts you create. And the more you think in that way, the more circumstances will show up that support that way of thinking. This is how it goes. This is how thoughts create reality. So the more you become angry and think it's all about me, I'm doing something wrong and I hate people. People do that to me. Like you easily slip into victim mentality. The more you do that, the more meaning you create around that, you actually make it much harder for yourself. And there is just no need for it. It's not about you, it's about themselves. And drop the meaning. Just drop the meaning. The second point I want to mention is, what does it trigger in you? This is gold because something is going to happen for you if someone continuously shows up in that energy, or many people show up in that energy for you. This is where you now have to take an honest look at yourself. What emotions and limiting stories show up? Again, what is the meaning you make out of what's happening? This is your stories. This is your part. This is your work. The first one was to not take it personally. And if you take it personally, what does it trigger in you? What is happening? And you have to work on those for your own healing and calling back your own power. Until you basically don't attach any meaning anymore to it. Until you feel your energy is calm and composed. It doesn't trigger you anymore. Someone reaches out, wants free coffee with you, and you can decide, do you actually want a free coffee with that person now? Do you feel like sharing your wisdom with that person right now or not? But it doesn't trigger you anymore. You just say, no, thank you. Or like, here are my services. If you want my support, you can book XYZ here. And other than that, it doesn't trigger anything in you anymore. And especially if it's a pattern, especially if it's happening more and more, then it really can trigger something in you. And this is the energy you have to take care of. And mostly it's hurt and anger, or not feeling seen, or feeling less than anyone else. Because it might even happen that those people like want your stuff for free. That's a big one as well. They want your stuff for free and then they go and book with someone else. And this can create so many limiting stories, so many limiting thoughts in you. I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I will never succeed, no one likes me, no one sees me, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. All that stuff that's showing up, this is yours to look at. And this is obviously something to really go deep and look at with someone, like with a person, with a coach on your side, especially if it's a pattern. And now I'm going to give you a paradox, because point number 3 is, what does it mean for you? So in point number 1, I said, drop the meaning. It's not about you. And now I say, if it's a pattern, it's about you. So after having worked on the triggers, on the emotions showing up and the limiting thoughts, it really is about going deeper, going further. Because if this is a pattern, if this shows up all the time, and first check in, what is the pattern? Is it that people just want your free time? Is it that they actually book a call and they never work with you? Is it that they show up for the call but then go and work with someone else? Is it that they don't even hop on a call with you, that they just get your free stuff? Is it that they want to meet with you, or they stop you in the street and they don't stop talking to you and you feel like, what the heck? That person knows I'm a business owner. Like, what's happening? Why does this person think I have all this free time? It can show up in so many different ways. So first of all, get clear on how is it showing up. It could even be that someone makes like funny remarks about your business, like not taking you seriously. So what is it? How is it showing up? And then understand what the root cause is and do this with a coach. Work on this with a coach and figure out what the root cause is and perhaps what the root wound is here. And it's a little bit similar to what I already gave you. Like, what is the limiting thought underneath? What is the limiting wound? The root wound underneath of like, I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve this. People are cruel. Like, there are so many different things. I'm not safe. Or it could just be something around your business processes. So it could be deep inner work, why you basically sabotage your own success. And it's something in your energy that people don't go further with you, that they only pick you up on your free stuff. It could be that you think you're not good enough. It could be that you think actually my offer is not good enough. And basically you don't think that's something what's going on the subconscious level. Deep inside of yourself, you lack clarity on what you actually want to do, with whom you want to work. You lack clarity in your offer. It might be that you lack energy, that you lack the energy of confidence, the energy of owning what you offer. So understand, there are so many different ways this can go. There is not one thing why this can show up. And this is also why I said it can show up in the beginning stages of your business or later on. And then there can be very different reasons for it showing up. But it is always like, if it's a pattern, it's always a hint for you to check in, like, what is the meaning? Why is that happening? Not what is the meaning in order to, now I need to feel bad about myself, and rather to spark your curiosity. What is happening here? Is it something around my offer? Is it something around my energy? Is it around my limiting focus? Is it about a next level? This can very often happen in the so-called bridging period, in the liminal phase between who you were and who you are about to be. Like the next level version of yourself, the next level version of your business. And you are in this liminal phase. You're in this phase of in between. And then it very often can happen that some of the old people show up who like took you up on very low prices then, and now they are obviously not willing to pay the higher prices, or that all those, freeloaders show up and want your stuff for free. And you have to keep the energy at that next level. You have to keep that focus of where you're headed and drop into trust and into faith and into belief. It could be any of those. And this is why a podcast, guys and ladies, this is why a podcast is not enough. I give you so many ideas and so many hints. And if you want to take it to the next level, you do have to hire someone. Put your money where your mouth is and work on those things. Work on them because they always change everything, the trajectory of your life and of your business. And you could be running around for years and years and years with those limiting foci, and you won't find them, or you even know what it is. You don't have any clue how to change it. And this is where outside support comes in. So I urge you, either book a call with me, book a call with someone else. If this is an issue for you, go do that. Really, get yourself supported because it can be so many things. Okay, now we had 3 different points. What is the next point? Or let me quickly summarize. The first one was, know that it's not about you, but about themselves. Drop the meaning. The second one was, what does it trigger in you? Work on the emotions and the limiting stories that show up. So important. Number 3 was, what does it mean for you? Like in reverse to number 1, actually now look at the pattern. What is happening here? What is the meaning? Why is this showing up? Then obviously start changing that. Do the inner work and do the energetic work and do the strategic work. Whatever it is pointing you towards. Okay, now next point. Point number 4. Tell those people that their behavior doesn't serve them. Call them out. And this is especially challenging and really a big deal for empaths and sensitive entrepreneurs. We are not good with calling other people out. We don't like conflict. We rather want harmony all the time. We'd rather not speak about stuff that doesn't suit us well. It's like, okay, let's keep the peace. The other person didn't mean it. It's okay. You're in people-pleasing mentality. You want to take care of the feelings of the other person more than of your own feelings. You know, you get the point. So Yeah. And you have to understand it's not only about calling those people out because you want to get rid of your anger and your hurt. No, this is what you do in point 2. So now when you call them out, then you do this from a cleared energy. You don't come at them with hurt. You don't come at them with anger and like are very angry and say like, what the fuck did you do there? And why do you do that? And I don't deserve this. No, I don't mean that. That's childish behavior. That's the inner child work you have to do beforehand. And once you are clear on your energy, you are fine. You don't have any negative charge on the event anymore. Then you call them out and then you serve them powerfully because it's not helping them if you avoid conflict. You have to understand that their thinking is incorrect. If they have the idea that free advice is all that is needed for deep transformation. And this is where you have to be a loving mirror to them. And guess what? They will be deeply grateful for it. One of the people where I had this discussion with, where we spoke about this, where I called her out on that behavior, she said, like, you've got a fan for life now. How you handled the situation and what you actually showed me and you, like what you changed for me here. You have a fan for life and I'm deeply grateful for what you did here. So no, it's not about conflict. It came from my heart and it can come from your heart of actually mirroring back to them what you experienced and what is happening there. Yeah, and it might be a challenge for you and this might be the exact challenge that you need right now. And this might be the only reason why this stuff is happening. Look, that's another reason why those things can show up. Because you have to stand up for yourself. You have to own yourself. You have to take a stand for yourself. This could be the only reason, really, why this shows up. That you work on your emotions behind that, on the feeling of rejection, feeling of abandonment, of neglect, whatever. And then you powerfully own the situation and say, look, this is what showed up for me. This behavior is not okay. Let's talk about this. Let me share what I can see here and let me share what I can feel would serve you better. And why is that not serving you? This could be it could be the only reason why this is showing up, that you actually take a stand for your own needs and for your own boundaries, and yet that you speak it out. And you might cringe like now. Like you might know that I'm talking the full on truth right now. That it's really about owning yourself in those moments. It's not about whatever next level and all the other stuff I spoke before, that it's actually about speaking up for yourself. And this is also something what we empaths and sensitive entrepreneurs or sensitives actually didn't learn. We didn't learn to speak up for ourselves. No. We feel the feelings of other people and we just stay silent. And that's a big issue. That's not helping anyone. We always think that's the loving thing to do, to stay out of conflict and to not voice what's going on for us. And that's utter bullshit. You have to take a standpoint. You have to learn how to voice your needs, and this is going to help anyone, because otherwise you're just wishy-washy and your feelings or what's going on inside is not what you're showing on the outside. Yeah, and just like work with a coach on that and figure out how to speak to those people. Like I work with my clients on that all the time. Like they share with me what's going on, what people respond to their outreach, what people say in sales calls, and if that shows up, we work through that. They get ideas, like I show them what the meaning could be and how to speak to those people. So they actually learn from me how to address that. And it shifts everything for them. So find someone or work with someone on that, how to powerfully serve those people while creating boundaries and while making clear that that behavior is not okay and why it's actually very, very painful and hurtful for themselves. So you're not coming from a place of like, you did me wrong. You're coming from a place, hey, I have to show you something. There is something how you're hurting yourself. You're not hurting me anymore because I dealt with my own emotions. That's not the issue. You're hurting you. And I gave you a sentence already, what it could be. Their thinking is incorrect if they have the idea that free advice is all that is needed for deep transformation. Because that is the issue for people who never commit. And I'm not speaking about people who hop on a call with you and figure out that you're not the right help for them. And they go and book somewhere else. That's fine. Then you just have to deal with your own hurt pride or something. But those people who never, ever financially or energetically or even time-wise invest, they will come back a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later with the same issue. They will still be stuck at the same thing because just reading a book or reading stuff on the internet does not help. You have to work with someone on those issues. You have to have someone who mirrors you, your blind spots, who calls you out on that powerfully and courageously. And it needs to be someone where you can calibrate you energetically. And this is all stuff you can't tell people. You work with someone, with a mentor, a coach, a consultant, because you also calibrate to the energy of that person. And this is why you don't, like, especially in whatever you work in, why you just don't charge per hour anymore. Because more is going on there. More is going on. That, like, transformation is not measurable in hours that you give to them. And if people don't sign up for that, they don't get your full energy. They get like a tiny fraction of that. And this is not what helps them through. And I could talk for ages around that, like why this mentality is really hurtful for people and what is going on and what might keep them from that. But that's for a different podcast episode. So for now, just know that it's actually your obligation to call them out on that. If you claim that you work in some kind of transformation industry, if you just sell books or, there is nothing personal going on there, like no personal connection with your clients, then of course, like whatever. Even then you could do that. But usually the people I work with and the people who listen to my podcast are people who have a heart-centered, soul-led business. So there is a connection to other people. And then it's actually your obligation to call them out on that. Because otherwise you just let them run around with it's like you could almost imagine someone who has a deep cut and is slowly bleeding out, and you're not telling them about it. You have seen it. They haven't recognized it. I don't know why, but somehow they haven't. And they are running around bleeding to death, and you're not telling them. And you calling them out means you're telling them about the cut, that they are bleeding out. What they then do is their choice. You're not going to force them to go to the doctor or something, But your job is to call them out. And as I said, they will be deeply grateful for it. Now, last point, don't do it yourself. Check in with yourself on every level, in every area of your life and business, where there might be a little bit of freeloader mentality. Are you someone who just books free stuff from people all the time, and never investing whatever amount into that person? You feel called to a person. You feel called to the energy of a specific person. You have all the free stuff from that person, but you never reach out and book a call and actually sign up and pay money and energy and time. It might be that. It might be in your private life that someone is taking care of your needs all the time and you just take it. You never say thank you and you never give back. Are there any relationships in your life, any personal relationships where there is no balance? And perhaps you also don't want something anymore, but you're not courageous enough to say, hey, stop it. This is not in alignment anymore. You just take their energy. You say, I don't like the energy. Like it could be, what people complain about, for example, when it comes to, what's the name? Not step parents, but the parents from your spouse. I forgot the name in that moment. And then they complain about the horrible mother of her husband or partner or father, whatever. How intrusive that person is, and not understanding. They are actually not saying stop. They are not saying stop. They keep receiving that energy that they even despise, but they are not stopping it. They are constantly receiving energy. That's freeloader mentality, even though it's kind of crazy because you actually don't want it, but you don't stop it. So freeloader mentality can be in any kind of way. And this could be a deeper pattern again. Gosh, I make up so many buckets today, so many things to look at. If you don't understand after this podcast episode that there is stuff to work on, then I don't know what needs to happen for you. So funny. Now, and it's like really while I'm talking, I'm coming up with all those things. So it could even be that you, like freeloader mentality can even be that you're constantly putting energy on your trauma, on your childhood traumatic stuff. That could also be freeloader mentality, and you're not putting money down to actually solve that. Like getting energy, constantly fused into your pain, into your wounds, and then obviously complaining about this because you don't want it, but you don't stop it. So it's a traumatic bond between you and that person. But you're not changing that. That's kind of really freaky, crazy freeloader mentality as well. If all the other stuff didn't resonate, this is another path you can go down and check in with yourself. Another way of freeloader mentality obviously is to go into a shop to check out clothes, to check out what kind of product, but then buy it online because it just costs half the price. This is also not paying people for their service. You get the service for free, and I know so many people do that. I have done that myself, and sometimes I still have to remind myself, no, you pay for the service. You don't just pay for the product. That's my choice. That's me being in integrity. And it might be if you're doing that all the time, you're looking for the cheapest way out, that this shows up in your business, that this is why people are being mirrored to you that show you that, exactly that. I want everything for free. I want the cheapest way out. And where are you perhaps taking lots of energy and time from people where you somehow know it's not the right thing anymore? Could even be old relationships, old friendships that don't serve you anymore. Like there are so many ways. Stop doing that. Pay people for their services. If you're in any way trying to get stuff for free, stop it. Because this means that this is one way to not being an energetic match for that happening to you anymore. And as I said, I could go so much deeper, but I think I gave you lots of stuff to think about today. If you feel overwhelmed, listen to it again. There is so much gold in here. Listen to it again. And if you follow those 5 points, this is all. Your work is done. Keep serving the world. And I know it sounds easy, but you will have to go deep. You will have to get support for that because excellence isn't created on the surface. Let me quickly summarize for you what are the 5 points. First one, know that it's not about you, but about themselves. Drop the meaning. Second one, what does it trigger in you? Work on those emotions and limiting stories that show up. Third one, check on the meaning. Like, why is that happening? What is the pattern there? What is it teaching you? What are you hearing? And your intuition will tell you if you're on the right path. Like if it's just your brain telling you X, Y, Z, or deep in your heart, you know what's actually going on. And then fourth one, call those people out. Serve them powerfully and know that you're actually speaking up, that this is serving them and it's serving you. Because you're getting out of your comfort zone and you're helping them see behavior that it's actually hurting themselves. And last point, don't do it yourself. Find all the ways where you try to get stuff for free, be it products, be it services, or where you just try to get it in a cheaper way. You want the cheap way out, or you just want energy from people, or where you're taking on energy from people and you actually don't want it anymore, but you were not strong enough, not courageous enough to say, stop it. Yeah, let me know on social media how this specific podcast episode resonated with you. And if you want to take this further, give me just 15 minutes and I will identify with you the bottlenecks in your business and how to create much more ease and time while obviously still doubling or more your revenue. The link is in my show notes. Other than that, much love to you and until the next episode. Did you like this podcast episode? Then I would be super, super grateful if you gave me a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. Super helpful. And please subscribe to the podcast and share it with people who you know can benefit from it. You can find all links to my social media profiles, my website, and contact form in the show notes. And whenever you're ready to take a next step, and that means you want to live a life of more on all levels, then send me a message with where you want to go and what is keeping you where you are, like what keeps you stuck at the moment. And then I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for listening, and until the next episode, much love to you, Lydia.